Thank you everybody for being here. It's a good day to be on the West Side any day of the week. How many West Siders do we have in the house? All right. Before we begin on announcing all the good news that we have, I just want to recognize a few of our colleagues in government and thank you for coming. Starting off with our county legislator here for the region, Howard Johnson, thank you for being here. Councilmember Mitch Nowakowski, thank you very much. And we have representing our amazing majority leader, Peoples-Stokes, here with Leah Pope, thank you very much, and Mark Boyd. And of course, representing our state senator for this neighborhood, Senator Tim Kenny, we have Palmira Ortiz with us. Thank you very much for being here. So, as many of you may know, I've been in the New York State Assembly now for a little over a year and a half. Learned a lot, experienced a lot of unexpected things. When people said, you know, you sure this is the thing you want to do in life? I thought public service is something I'm compelled to do completely, but it shouldn't be too dramatic. It shouldn't be too crazy. Here we are, a new governor, legalized marijuana, the list goes on, multiple lieutenant governors now. But here we are doing the things that we all really pursue this for, and that is to be in our communities, doing the things that matter, making a difference to the best that we can, working together to get things done, and fighting for communities and neighborhoods that often go voiceless. So it's been an amazing experience, and I obviously want to thank everybody that's been supportive of me along this process. It means more than you could ever know. There's one person in particular that I literally would not be here without, that I'm going to ask to come forward, and that is my favorite elected official, Councilman David Rivera.
Thank you very much. Let me say that I have a number of favorite elected officials. Well, of course, my son, and of course, now Mr. Heastie, who's here as well, to bring us... You're bringing us good news today, and so you're one of my favorites, by the way. It was only about a year ago that you came to Niagara Street to make an announcement on the Hispanic heritage culture. It was a great day for us as a community because it's something that we have worked hard and tirelessly for over a couple years, along with Casimiro Rodriguez and Hispanic heritage culture. It means archiving our history and having a place for our young children they can go to and understand and appreciate the culture that they have. And you were here for that, and that meant a lot to the Latinos. And I know there are many Latinos that are here that are appreciative of what you've done. It's the first time in almost 15 years as an elected official that I saw the Speaker of the Assembly come to the West Side, bring a check and say, hey, we support you. And then today, on top of all that, you're bringing even more. So we are so grateful on behalf of the residents of the city of Buffalo and of the West Side, here in the West Side. I want to thank you, especially you, Assemblymember or Majority Leader Peoples-Stokes, for their support, and of course our legislator, our state legislator, Senator Tim Kennedy, and all of those that represent us in Albany that allocated these funds. What the money is going to do for this building is probably going to be transformational. There probably have been some deferred maintenance on this building, and I'm sure that much of the money that you're bringing today will go towards taking care of some of those things that were deferred. So let me extend my appreciation on behalf of the residents of the city of Buffalo, the West Side. And once again, thank you. And we're looking forward to you coming back again sometime soon. Thank you very much.
So before I was able to come into the New York State Assembly, this district was represented by an amazing public servant who's now in the state Senate, someone that led the way on a lot of issues that I'm very grateful to continue to pursue in Albany and here in Buffalo, including fighting for resources for neighborhoods like this, but also for pursuing bigger things that are affecting statewide, across the state from Buffalo to Long Island and everything in between. And that's what I want to bring up right now. That's Senator Sean Ryan.
What about Jon Rivera, huh? Great guy, great servant, and really recognizes, what's good for our community. The Belle Center here is a community institution. Generations of people have come through. You know, what was the Father Belle and now is the Belle. They reflect the needs of the community, and they devise programming to help those needs. I spent a decade in the Assembly. I'm a creature of the Assembly. My heart's in the Assembly, and it's so great to have the Speaker here today, you know, coming into Buffalo, coming into the West Side. So my hats off to the Speaker. Thank you for continuing to recognize Buffalo. Thank you for continuing to recognize the West Side of Buffalo. And it only happens because you have a great Assemblymember, Jon Rivera.
So around this time last year, we were able to announce a substantial investment into the Hispanic Heritage Cultural Institute. Thanks to the Speaker and thanks to the Majority Leader and everyone else that was involved, we were able to designate $3.8 million that day to an organization that we believe is truly sowing a seed into something much greater, knowing that our future generations are going to be able to hold on to, learn about, and be close to our culture. Something that we feel here in places like upstate New York is that we're quite a distance away from where our roots began. For me, that's Puerto Rico. For other people, that's other places in the Caribbean and South and Central America. But nonetheless, we have to do everything we can to connect ourselves to those roots, despite the great distance. And I believe, and I know a lot of people here believe, that the Hispanic Heritage Cultural Institute is going to accomplish that. And because we believe in it, because the Speaker believes in it, and I believe in it, we're here today announcing, on top of that investment that we made last year, an additional $1.5 million to the Hispanic Heritage Cultural Institute. And that's why we're going to bring up Councilman.
Thank you very much, Assemblymember Rivera. You have truly been a true champion to our community in this region. Since you got to Albany, you hit the ground running, and you heard the appeals of our community and the needs of our community, and you've responded. And it's been said before by our council member, David Rivera, and also our assemblyman, that a little bit less than a year ago, as a matter of fact, 11 months ago, he, along with our majority leader and the colleagues in the New York State Legislator, brought our Speaker to Western New York to make one of the biggest announcements ever received by our Hispanic community here in Western New York, in announcing that $3.8 million. And we're forever grateful for that announcement and for that announcement today. You know, it's been quite some journey ever since we began this road back in 2019. Many doubts, but one thing that we did not doubt was our faith. And you were able to reaffirm that faith with all your colleagues, both in the New York State Assembly, and the governor and the senators and what have you, to be able to reaffirm. And this commitment today adds up to $10.3 million towards a $12.5 million. You know, I just got off a conference call this morning with one of the big businesses here in Western New York, West Her, Scott Beeler. And when he saw the numbers from New York State, that made his commitment even bigger for our project on a naming rights for our Broadcast and Media Center. You know, the Broadcast and Media Center will be an institution within the Institute to be able to educate and promote communication, information, and education to our community via the radio and TV. And we're doing it for the children that we see out here in the audience. So on behalf of our President, Esmeralda Sierra, our Board of Directors of the Hispanic Heritage Council, Mr. Speaker, and some of our colleagues that are here in the audience, like our architects, Dr. Kali Kazi, a partner, and also from the University of Buffalo, Justin Reed, which is a partner from the University of Buffalo that will help us but a lot of the programming for our children, we're very grateful of you being here and grateful for you, Assemblyman, and your leadership and all you've done for our community and continue to do. Thank you very much.
I've been coming into this building for as long as I can remember, growing up in the 14213 and still living here now. It's not only a place where you see children and seniors, it's not only a place where people come and vote, it's not only a place where families can come together. I spent a lot of time here during our Maria relief work, where we were collecting all kinds of goods that we would then send to Puerto Rico. This was a main hub for all the activity that so many people in this room were a part of. And it's reflective of what a community center really could be, what it should be. And that's why we are beyond excited to announce our investment here in the Belle Center. And with that, I'm going to bring over our Executive Director, Lucy Candelario.
Thank you, Jon. Good afternoon, everyone. Those of you that know me know that I am not a good public speaker. But I could always brag about the Belle, so this is going to be easy. I just like to start off by saying thank you and welcome to our Assemblymember Jonathan Rivera, our council member, soon to be David Rivera, and I'm so happy for that. Senator Ryan, you know what you mean to us here at the Belle Center, but especially our speaker, Mr. Heastie. Thank you so much for coming down and learning about the Belle Center. I'll go off script a little bit because I think I can do best when I do that. The center was built in 1976. With that, we had the Italians were the first immigrants to be here on the west side. Soon afterwards, the community became diverse. The largest population here are the Latinos, but we also welcomed the new Americans here to the west side. Some of the programs that we offer here are for children, senior citizens, as it was mentioned by the others. Our niche is working with the kids. We have 56,000 square feet of what I like to call fun, but also we do recreational programs or educational programs. We help our seniors. There are devoted senior citizens. They come here daily for socialization, exercise, nutrition, which helps them stay in place in their own homes, and we all know about that, along with our friends here from Hispanic United, who we so dearly love. The funds that we are about to receive from you will be used towards giving this place a little bit of a facelift. As you can see, it needs it desperately, but especially for our pool area. The pool is in desperate need of a new filtration system. It needs a new pool pack, which controls the heating and cooling. And I say it's very important because we are the only indoor pool here on the west side. So this is a gem for our kids here on the west side. I say that because too often, and especially now this summer, since we don't have our pools open throughout the city, it's important because our kids tend to want to go to Lake Erie or the river to swim, and we all know that's very dangerous. We don't pretend to know it all or do it all here, but what we cannot do, we find our friends like Hispanic United or Willie Hush Jones to collaborate with to do free swimming. We have a beautiful pool. They have the lifeguards. They come in, they teach our kids to swim for free, which is not only awesome, it's very much needed. So I thank you and I applaud you. We ask you to come back and visit for a tour because we do a lot of other things here at the Belle Center. We like to brag that we take our kids from cradle to success. Our youngest is 6 weeks old. Our oldest is 96 years old. So whatever you think a community center does, we're here. We're here for our community. So thank you very much.
So with all that being said, I want to give a big thank you to our speaker who is taking it upon himself to see this entire state. He represents a really great neighborhood in the Bronx, and he knows that neighborhood tremendously well, but he's really taken it upon himself to visit everywhere. Just in the last few weeks, he's been in Long Island, Monroe County next week. here this week, North Country, everywhere from the Adirondacks to Niagara Falls. So, not every speaker will do that and take that responsibility upon themselves to do, but this is a person that leads with action and leads with a heart for the community in every community that he's in. And he's a fighter for not just the values that we keep in the majority of the New York State Assembly, but the values that we learn in neighborhoods like this. So with that, I want to bring up the Speaker of the New York State Assembly, Carl Heastie.
So it's really good to be back here in Buffalo. I spent the last couple of days here. Unfortunately, I shouldn't say that. I'll be back on Saturday for an unfortunate reason. It's always good to be here in Buffalo. But this is, looking at these beautiful, young faces, giving them a good life shouldn't be this hard. So wanting to support the Hispanic Heritage Cultural Institute, it shouldn't be this hard to have a place for the Latino community to learn and understand their heritage. I think that's important for all people to know your heritage. So it's my pleasure to do that on behalf of the Assembly. But again, John is a freshman, but he negotiates and requests and legislates like a veteran. And so, Councilman, I'll take it. I could be your favorite legislator just for one day. You could, but really, and to be here, and beforehand we spoke about the funding for the pool. It has become like my personal passion this year. I want as many kids as possible to learn how to swim. Just hearing of the tragedies of just young people, and I just think for those of us, my family came from the Caribbean and the South. My father learned how to swim in the Atlantic Ocean. He was an amazing swimmer. But for those of us who our roots come from the Caribbean, it's a shame that we don't know how to swim. So I want to do everything I can to encourage young people to swim. It's the greatest exercise that you can do. It's the only exercise that covers every single muscle in your body. And it's a life skill, and sometimes it's a life-saving skill. So that's why it's my pleasure to do it. But all of the credit really has to go to your amazing, amazing Assemblyman. And it's great to be here. He went to the Senate. He wanted a demotion. I can't say anything about that, but it's always good to be with Senator Sean Ryan. But this is what this community deserves. So people don't have to be grateful. It's your money. It's the state's money. This is what this community deserves. So I'm happy to partner with John to make sure that we could deliver for the west side of Buffalo. So thank you.
So, as the speaker mentioned, our original announcement for the Belle Center was going to be $1 million. We feel, he and I both feel, the strong need that's in this building, not just for all the work that it does, and for all the people that it serves, but for the need that's here. That's why this $1 million needs to be corrected, because we're going to fix this pool. It's going to be $2 million. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.